Decimal expansion. How to write the figure form from the expanded form. What are they? Numbers that use a decimal point followed by digits. Why? Helpful in determining the price of an item in a store. Interesting fact. Under UV light, such as a black light, scorpions are known to glow due to the presence of fluorescent chemicals in their exoskeleton. So let's take a look at the steps. Step 1, start with the whole numbers. Step 2, then look at the decimal numbers. Step 3, don't forget about empty zeros. Let's read the question. Write the figure form of the following number: 50 plus 2 plus 0.1 plus 0.08. Now we're going to take a look at the whole numbers. 50 is the biggest one, and we can re-say 50 as 5 tens. So we put the 5 underneath the tens and keep moving along the place value chart. Now we put the 2 underneath the ones or the units, and then we put the 1 and the 0.1 underneath the tenths. Why? Because the 1 and the 0.1 is one place value after the decimal point, and so is tenths. Now if we take a look at the next number, which is 0.08, we put the 8 underneath the hundreds. Why? Because the 8 in 0.08 is two place values after the decimal point, and so is hundreds. Now the answer for this is 52.18. And another way is separating the whole numbers and the decimal numbers and working that way. So we add 50 and 2, and we get 52. Now instead of writing the decimal numbers horizontally, we write it vertically. Just make sure that you write the place values underneath each other. And now we bring the number straight down, and we get 0.18. Now why can we do that? Well, if we take a look at the hundreds, we have 8 plus nothing, and since that's nothing, you can just put a 0 there, and that gives us 8. And if we add the tenths, the 0 and the 1, add those two numbers together, and we get 1. Now we add the 52 and the 0.18 to get 52.18. And since we got the same answer, we did it correctly. Now let's take a look at example 2. 900 plus 6 plus 0.3 plus 0.05. Take a look at the whole numbers. 900 is the biggest one, so we put the 9 underneath the hundreds. And now we have to worry about the tens, but we don't have any two-digit numbers, so therefore we need to put a 0 underneath the tens, and then put the 6 underneath the ones, or the units place value. And now we're going to take a look at 0.3, put the 3 underneath the tenths. Once again, it's the same as example 1. The 3 is one place value after the decimal point, and so is tenths. And now we take a look at 0.05, put the 5 underneath the hundreds. Why? Because 5 is two place values to the right of the decimal point, and so is the hundreds place value. And our answer is 906.35. Now to show you the other way, we separate the whole numbers and the decimal numbers, add the whole numbers, and we get 900 plus 6 is 906. And then now we're going to go ahead and write the decimal numbers vertically, bring the numbers straight down, and we get 0.35. Add the two numbers, 906 plus 0.35, and we get 906.35. Same as before, so we did it correctly. So let's take a look at example 3. 20 plus 9 plus 0.04 plus 0.007. Now we take a look at the whole numbers. 20 is the biggest one, or 2 tens. So we put the 2 underneath the tens, put the 9 underneath the ones or the units. And in this case, we don't have any tenths, so we put a 0. The reason why we don't have any tenths is because we don't have any decimal numbers that only have one place value after the decimal point. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at hundreds, which is the 0.04, and we put that underneath the hundreds. Why? Because the 4 and 0.04 is two place values to the right of the decimal point, same as hundreds. And now we're going to take a look at the 7 in the thousandths. And the reason why we put it underneath the thousandth is because in 0.007, the 7 is three place values to the right of the decimal point, same thing as the thousandths place value. and our number is 29.047. And now we're going to go ahead and separate the whole numbers and the decimal numbers. We add 20 and 9, you get 29. Rewrite the decimal numbers vertically, making sure the place values are underneath each other. Bring down the numbers, and we get 0.047. And now we add 29 plus 0.047, and we get 29.047. Same as before, we did it correctly. Now let's take a look at example 4. We have 700 plus 60 plus 4 over 10 plus 3 over 100. Now we're going to take a look at the whole numbers. 700 is the biggest, so we put the 7 under the hundreds, and we put the 6 underneath the tens. Since we don't have any ones or units, we need to add the 0. We put the 4 in the tenths, and then we put the 3 in the hundreds. And the answer is 760.43. The last example we have is 40 plus 6 over 100 plus 7 over 1,000. And we can re-say 40 as 4 tens. So we put the 4 underneath the tens, put the 0 underneath the ones or the units. In this case, we don't have anything over 10, so we're going to add the 0 and put that underneath the tenths place value. And now we put the 6 underneath the hundreds. And now we put the 7 underneath the thousands. And your number is 40.067. And now it is your turn. So go ahead and pause the video so you can take your time to answer these questions. And I'll show you the answers in 3, 2, and 1. Here you have it. If you got them correct, well done. If you didn't, there's always tomorrow.